Welcome back. Tampa Bay's foster children need more help than the system can provide, and there is a special group of volunteers who are doing everything they possibly can to help. The Honorable Irene Sullivan and Sue Neville join us now to tell us more about the Guardian Ad Litem Foundation. Ladies, thank you for being here. Sue, I'll start with you. What is a Guardian Ad Litem?
A Guardian Ad Litem is a volunteer that's appointed by the court to watch out for the children's best interests when they've entered the foster care system.
Okay. And is this just local in Florida, or is this nationwide?
It's nationwide, actually. Some are called CASAs,
Okay.
special people who advise the court, but here in Florida, it's Guardian Ad Litem all over.
All right. And your group actively recruits and trains people who volunteer in this position. Is it hard to find a lot of people to get to be a Guardian Ad Litem?
It's challenging. Working with children that are abused is just a very difficult subject for a lot of people. But most people, when they hear about it, want to give their time in some way, shape, or form. So it is a little bit of a challenge, but it's just getting the word out there that we do need these compassionate adults to come forward and help these children out.
So compassion is a big part of the puzzle here. Do they need to have a background in law?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. What you really need to have is a caring for children and their well-being and seeing that they find a permanent, safe home for themselves.
And what's the training like?
We go through a 30-hour training that's put on by professionals, both legal staff and social workers, that hold our hands through this process, that teach us about what the law is. We are certainly not attorneys, but we do need to know a little bit about what the law is, and they teach us about different situations that we may encounter.
Okay. Judge, you have seen so many cases go through your courtroom. How important is a Guardian Ad Litem to a foster child?
The Guardian Ad Litem can be the most important person in the foster child's life.
Really?
And also the most important person in court very often.
Really?
And I'm glad you asked the question, Jan, about lawyers, because it's my opinion that I'm glad that the guardians mostly aren't lawyers, because
Really?
we have enough lawyers in the courtroom who know the laws and the statutes and who follow them and who point them out to the court. But the guardian is there representing the best interests of the child and that particular child, and knows their home, their bedroom, their toys, their books, their school, their teachers, their psychologists, much more than any other people at the podium in the child welfare court.
Now, you've since retired from your many years of service, but you're still actively involved, correct?
Yes, I am. I work with the Guardian Ad Litem program and my good friend Sue here in trying to recruit new guardians, and trying to get the guardians who are enthusiastic, and almost all of them are, about their work, to go out and seek a new one and bring a new one into the fold. Because once they start working with the children, and that's the wonderful thing about juvenile court, that everyone wants to help children. Once they start, they really put their whole selves into it.
Yeah, you truly loved your job. Do you miss being a judge, by the way?
I miss it very much, right. I miss it very much, but I like this other work that I can do, and I'm teaching juvenile law at Stetson, so that brings me in contact with people that are working in court.
And you probably actively recruit volunteers as well.
I try.
Yes, you do. Is it hard to find people to fill this very important role?
It is a challenge. I won't say that it's as easy as some of the other volunteer opportunities that are in the community, because we do ask that you stay with that child through the life of their case. And as you can tell from speaking to Connie and Taylor, sometimes children stay in the system for a really long time.
Yeah.
So we have guardians, and oftentimes it's the guardian that's the only one that has stayed with that child throughout the entire case plan.
And that's important. Consistency in the life of a foster child is very important, isn't it?
It sure is, right. And a recent legislation that allows the guardians to transport their child and take them out to an ice cream parlor, or, to do some fun events with them too, have so improved the system.
So the
and I
laws
think
are working with this
program.
program.
Yes, I think it makes it much more rewarding to be a guardian because it's not so restrictive.
Have you had a particular child or family court case come through that's been most rewarding for you?
Well, I've had guardians who have been the main ones in court pushing to get on the Heart Gallery, to get their child on the Heart Gallery, and thus up for adoption and adopted. And then when we do those, the judges do those adoption ceremonies, the guardians are there with balloons and presents and tears streaming down their face. So that's been very rewarding. I've also had guardians that have been very tenacious in making sure that a high school foster child gets into driver's training. and things like that, because those normal things that kids do in high school are very difficult sometimes for foster kids unless they have an advocate, and the guardian ad litem is their advocate.
How do you pair a guardian with the child?
Well, Sue might know that.
Well, that's done. The volunteer meets with the social workers within the office or their case management within the office, and we're able to read through summaries of the child's history of maybe where they've been. There are some people that specialize in certain types of cases that might be therapeutic where there are medical needs. We might match a child with someone that has a medical background, or a child that's having some educational challenges. We get a lot of former school administrators that come and work with us as well, so that's a good pairing for them. And some guardians pick children that are residing in their community, so it's very easy for them to visit. The law says we only have to visit once a month, but that's not usually what we do. We're usually there much more frequently, so if we can find someone that's sort of in our neighborhood, it's much more
That helps
enjoyable.
too.
Yeah, it does.
Earlier we met Connie and Taylor, and being a social worker, and she wound up adopting one of the children she was helping. Have you ever had a situation where a guardian has adopted the child that they were paired with?
You know, I've gone and looked that up, and we can't seem to find where that's happened. And the welfare system for children is sort of broken into groups where you have case management and you have volunteers that do what we do, and we sort of find our natural niche as to where it works best for us.
Advice for someone who might be considering doing this? What would you say to them?
Well, I'd say, first of all, call the office of the guardian ad litem. Donna Rasmussen is the head of the guardian ad litem program in our circuit, or Pinellas Pasco circuit, and start the training, because I think the new guardians will see by the training how much information they're given, how much help there is, assistance during the case, people to go to, and then how rewarding it is. And they sit in court and they can talk to different judges too. So I'd say start the training and see if it's for you, and I think in most cases it will be.
And it's only 30 hours?
It's only 30 hours, and they can visit our website, herotoachild.org, and get lots of information on the Guardian Ad Litem program, what we do, and it also links over to how they can actually apply and get into the orientation program to sign up for training.
That's great. Sue, Judge Irene, thank you both for being here. Thank you for what you're doing for these children. You're making a big difference in their lives.
Well, thank you, Jen, for having us.
You're so welcome. You're so welcome. We'll be right back after this.